It's finally upon us, the Masked Dancer finale, the Sloth, the Cotton Candy, and the Tulip. Who came out victorious and who was under the masks? Hey everybody, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It and the Masked Dancer wrap-up for Season 1. What a trip it has been. I definitely got thrown on a couple of these people, and certainly without your help over the weeks in the comments, I would not have gotten some of these final people either. If you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome. We do masked videos here every single week of a new Masked season. So March 10th will be the premiere of Masked Singer Season 5, and Niecy Nash taking over for at least a few weeks for Nick Cannon, who ended up having COVID-19. So, and I love Niecy Nash, so I'm very excited about that. That will be coming up in a couple weeks' time, but for now, we have the Masked Dancer finals. Once again, I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff in my notebook here. I know my chicken scratch is hard to read anyway, but so there was, like usual, an hour-long sort of retrospective of the season before the finale, and they did give like a couple of little clues in there, but nothing that was, I thought, of any importance. So we're really just going to talk about the second hour tonight of the 2-hour finale, which was the actual final episode of the show. No guest panelist. It was just our four buddies, Brian, Paula, Ken, and Ashley Tisdale. And by the way, you know, this happened a few weeks ago, and I never pointed it out on my reviews, but the first, like, 3/4 of the season or 2/3 of the season, Brian was actually on the other side of the podium. I don't know why they moved him to the first space, but maybe it made people more comfortable because that is sort of how they're lined up for the Masked Singer. You have, you know, male, female, Ken Jeong, and then the other female. So maybe that's why they did that. But yeah, like 2 weeks ago or something, I noticed that Brian was on the other side. But anyway, so Tulip went first, and each of these clue packages tonight, they did talk about sort of their journey on the whole, but there were a few new clues in each one as well to help us along. So the Tulip went first. We saw a big E balloon, like a mylar balloon with like angry eyes and a mustache. She said she's the youngest in a talented family. We saw some makeup on a line, so a makeup line, and then a barrel of ale with an X above it, so X Ale. The song she did was Kings and Queens by Ava Max, and they still did the word up even though it was the finale, so her word was followers. So thinking maybe, you know, TikTok followers, Instagram followers. You know, Tulip has long been talking about social media in her clue packages, so that would make sense. The guesses from the panel, Lucy Hale and Mackenzie Ziegler. Lucy Hale coming from Ken, thinking that the X Ale on the barrel had to do with Lucy Hale. And Mackenzie Ziegler is somebody that Ashley had brought up last week, so you know, she approached that one again. And then next was the Sloth. He said, dancing isn't new to me, but this is the first time that I'm the student. We saw Jump Street on a sign. He said that he loves showing his baby sloth, you know, how he's doing on the show. He said, let's maximize the dancing. And then we also saw a heart monitor in his eyes at the beginning of the whole thing. And the song he did was Ballroom Blitz, the classic 70s track, but this one a cover from the current rock band The Struts, and his word was magical. His the guesses from the panel, Hugh Jackman again from Ashley Tisdale, and then Channing Tatum from Ken, taking off the Jump Street clue. And he's been guessing Channing Tatum, actually, and the secret word magical made him think of Magic Mike, and all of that kind of thing. And then finally the Cotton Candy. She said, I was always told, be better, not good enough. But not everything has been a perfect 10 in her life. But she says, I am a champion. Her training gives her the courage to soar. And then we saw some constellations in the sky that they never went over. And to be honest, I'm not good enough with constellations unless it's the Big Dipper or something. I don't know what it is, so I'm not sure what exactly the constellations represented. I wish they actually delved into that a little bit, but and then her performance was of "This Is Me" from The Greatest Showman. This is the version by Kesha from the pop version of the soundtrack. Her word was "foundation," which Paula was thinking maybe had to do with more of a makeup line again. And the guesses here, the panel is really split on Cotton Candy between a gymnast or a figure skater. So the guesses were Michelle Kwan, Simone Biles, and Gabby Douglas, all names that have been mentioned before for the Cotton Candy. All right, so we're getting down to it now. I mean, this is going to be a pretty quick video because it's pretty much everything we've been building up to here for the last couple of months. So in third place was the Tulip, and they got to ask questions of the third place and the second place performers. So Ken asked if she has a reality show background. She said yes. Paula said, she said, are you from LA? And she said, not originally, but she lives here now. Ashley asked if she's got a TikTok obsession, and she sort of coyly said maybe. And then Brian said, have you been dancing from a young age? Which was also a yes. So the guesses here, Ken said Lucy Hale again. Paula sticking with her guess for several weeks now of Liza Koshy. Ashley thought, again here, it's Mackenzie Ziegler. And Brian, Sabrina Carpenter. So 4 completely different guesses, all, of the young female variety that do have a good, healthy standing on TikTok and Instagram. But at the end, when the mask was uncovered, it was indeed Mackenzie Ziegler, something that we've been saying here on the channel for several weeks. Now, I did not start out that way. My initial guess for the Tulip, let me see if I have it here. My initial guess for the Tulip, was Heather Morris from Glee, I think, because there was a lot of Glee clues, or maybe not. Now I'm not remembering right. I think it was Heather Morris, though, that I said, which turns out to not be the Tulip, but does have something in common with one of our finalists. Mackenzie Ziegler is somebody that you guys had mentioned several weeks ago, and I had been sort of back and forth. Is it Mackenzie or is it Maddie Ziegler? Not sure. And the clues lined up too well for Mackenzie over the weeks. So I've been on that one for a little while, and it was indeed Mackenzie Ziegler. Some of the clues that I didn't quite know what they meant that they did mention, the 11. We saw a bunch of 11s in the first clue package, and she said she was on Dance Moms in 2011. And then there was a bus ticket that said AL to DC. And so I was thinking that was like something with Atlanta or DC. But no, that stood for the Abby Lee Dance Company, which I don't know what that is, but I imagine that's Mackenzie, trained there or something. They didn't really specify. But so there you go, Mackenzie Ziegler. Second place was, believe it or not, the Sloth. I actually didn't see this coming. I thought this was going to be completely reversed, and I said it last week. I thought the Tulip was going to win, Sloth in second, and Cotton Candy in third, but it was the exact reverse order. So thankfully, at least I got the people right, because I certainly didn't get the placement right for this final here. So the Sloth, Ashley said, have you ever hosted a big event? He said yes. That's like a meaningless question. I think everyone's hosted a big event. Paula, have we ever seen you without a shirt on? And he said yes. Ken said, have you ever been on the cover of a major magazine? Which was a yes. And Brian, are you over 35 years old? Which was another resounding yes. So Ken was thinking, once again, this is Channing Tatum. All of the clues from today, plus some other ones, and Ashley was sticking to her guns with Hugh Jackman. However, the first people to go for this particular person and guess were Paula and Brian. Paula started it off, Brian sort of followed her lead, and they were thinking Maxim Chermovsky from Dancing with the Stars. I've been saying Chermovsky because it is a CH, but they pronounce it on the show Chermovsky, so I'm going to go with that. It is a Russian name. Or Ukrainian name, I guess I should say. So, Paula was pretty sure about a lot of these clues, and some of them were things I've been saying throughout, and Brian sort of followed that lead, and yes, indeed, it was Maxim Shermovsky. Now, I've never heard of this person. So again, thanks to you guys in the comments for leading me in this direction, because once the name was brought up and I was like, okay, I thought it might be somebody with Dancing with the Stars, because that very first clue package had a tube of toothpaste that said like dental whitening tooth system or something like that, which is DWTS, Dancing with the Stars. And one of his co-stars, or one of his dancing partners, I should say, was Heather Morris from Glee. So it's funny that some people, including myself, thought the Tulip might be Heather Morris early on. But no, indeed, it was Max. And so we got a little bit more out of him. Obviously, a lot of the clues were things I've been saying. You know, there were a lot of 18s. 18 is the season he won Dancing with the Stars. We talked about some of his previous dancing partners. But one thing I didn't know was there were a lot of doctor clues. There was a stethoscope the one week. This week we had the little heartbeat thing in his eyes. He did a story arc on General Hospital as an actor. So that was that. And then he said, you know, he said that he was really plugging away at those clues just to kind of irritate and confuse Ken. So that was pretty funny, you know, that he said that. Look, I like this dude. He was funny. You know, an all-around good dancer, obviously, but a showman, too. He is very funny. I don't think I'm going to start watching Dancing with the Stars or anything, but I would love to see him pop up, you know, in other things, or maybe, you know, see him on talk shows or something, because he was quite engaging. And, you know, I think if he wasn't, people wouldn't have guessed things like Channing Tatum or Hugh Jackman, or Will Ferrell even was guessed by Ashley the one week. So, you know, it definitely pays off to sort of be a bit more energetic, not just a good dancer. So that helps. But in first place, yes, it was the Cotton Candy, the winner of the first ever Masked Dancer season. So again, you know, the panel really between gymnast or ice skater, and they were split 2 and 2. And to confuse it even further, nobody picked the same person. 2 ice skaters were picked and 2 gymnasts were picked. So Brian thought it might be Tara Lipinski, which I had thought for many weeks. Ken thought it was Michelle Kwan. Paula guessed Gabby Douglas. And Ashley guessed Simone Biles. So 4, all great guesses, honestly. I thought it was Lipinski for a little while, because there were a lot of clues leading us to her name. But the one thing that stuck with me from the beginning of the season, the sort of, you know, it wasn't even in the first episode. It was like before the first episode. They were doing, I don't know. It was some kind of like special, like, oh, here's what we can expect on the Masked Dancer. And so we knew that there were 4 Olympic gold medals between them. And if I didn't have that clue, I honestly think I probably would have stuck with Tara Lipinski throughout. Because Oscar De La Hoya, who I was pretty confident was the zebra, which he was, has 1 gold medal. So we needed somebody with 3 gold medals. Now, the show said Oscar had 2, which we talked about the other week, but he doesn't. He has 1. So it was like, who has exactly 3 gold medals, no more, no less. Tara Lipinski didn't match up. Simone Biles, Christy Yamaguchi, none of the names mentioned really matched up except for Gabby Douglas. And the reason Paula was so convinced, maybe not specifically that it was Gabby, but it was a figure skater over an ice skater, was just the way she was moving. And, you know, she fell that first week in the rehearsal. And, you know, her and Ashley Tisdale were both saying an ice skater falls, but not from a height like that. And as a gymnast, this person would know how to sort of recover for that. So they were really, you know, sticking onto that. And sure enough, it was, Paula was right again, Gabby Douglas, which means thanks to the gold medals that we had figured out, I got this one right too. So I actually got all 3 of these people right, and have gotten them, not from the beginning, but the last few weeks. I've only gotten, actually, I think, 3 of these right from the beginning. And a couple of them were actually ones that got voted off that first week. Ice-T got voted off the first week, but I didn't get him. Bill Nye, I had figured out. The zebra, Oscar De La Hoya, I knew him from the absolute start. Let me see, who else did I know here? From the very start, I didn't know Brian McKnight. Hammerhead, I did not know. That was Jersey Shore. So, was it the exotic bird? No, Jordan Sparks. I didn't know her either. I don't think so. I guess that maybe that's just it then. Maybe I only knew those two from the start: Oscar De La Hoya and Bill Nye the Science Guy. Well, all right, there you go. But through the course of the weeks, luckily we got a lot of the other ones, and some of the things that they mentioned on the show that I didn't mention. So the F/S at like the bus terminal was Gabby's nickname, the Flying Squirrel. I don't really know much about Gabby Douglas to know any of these things, but the 2012 thing we saw, or the English breakfast that we saw, that's where she won her golds in London. And then there was money in her eyes at some point, and she said that's because she was training in Ohio, which is the Buckeye state. So Gabby Douglas. There you go. So we got all three of these right. Thank you for your help in the comments, because I certainly never would have gotten Max Shermovsky. Never heard of him. But I'm glad I have now, because he's very funny and talented. So here is the deal then. In 2 weeks, I guess in 3 weeks. 2 weeks, there's nothing. There's double episodes of Name That Tune, if you enjoy that show, which I do. But then the week after, there's going to be the Masked Singer Season 5 premiere, plus the premiere of a new guessing game show called, what is it called? Wayne Brady is going to host it, and it's going to be called, like, something about, all right, I'm going to look it up, but basically the premise is that you have a list of things that this person could be accomplished at just by, like, looking at them. You can kind of try and tell what it is, which I think is a little ridiculous, but they're really, beating the hammer on that, like, guessing, I can see your voice, and they're really trying to, hone in on that. Game of Talents is the name of it. So that will premiere in a few weeks as well, meeting up with The Masked Singer. So there you go. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for enjoying all of my masked videos. I'm trying to think of other shows to do episode by episode reviews of, so if there's something on your mind, something that you think might get a nice following, let me know. I thought about doing it with American Idol, because I used to love American Idol, and I could not bring myself to watch it the other day. I was like, I don't really want to stick with this show all season long. But if there's something on your mind that you would love to see me review, please let me know in the comments. Definitely open to suggestions. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.